Welcome to day 6 of working on my son's 1991 Honda Accord. We're doing a complete restoration. In this video, we're doing the whole front end squishy bits. That's inner tie rods ends, outer tie rod ends, upper control arms, and sway bar end links. In the first episode, we did a full inspection of the car, and all of these are original, 35 years old, and worn out. So let's get this car in the lift, get these wheels off, and get started. So we're going to take 2 bolts out of here for the upper control arm. Then we're going to remove bolts out of the top, 2 bolts for the upper control arm. We're going to remove this cotter pin and a bolt here on the outer tie rod. And then we're going to use a special tool to get the inner tie rod. We'll talk about that in a minute. For whatever reason, this cotter pin is fresh, but this tie rod end, you should not be able to move it like this. This should be way stiffer. We'll see on the new one. Our new tie rod ends come with new cotter pins, so we don't need to try to keep this nice. There's a couple ways of separating this type of ball joint, and it's not whacking the top of that. You either put something like this in here and bang on the side, or you use a tool like this when they're really stuck. This one is completely destroyed. Now you can really see. If you don't have either of these, you might be able to borrow this kit from an auto parts store. If you do a lot of DIY, it's definitely worth having all of these, and I'll have links. We need to separate the outer tie rod from the inner tie rod. We have to take this boot off. I've already pulled this ring off, but we won't actually be able to remove the boot while this is on here. So we have to loosen this nut. That was aggressive. Yeah. So while the PB Blaster does its magic downstairs, we're gonna remove here, and there's a bolt under here, or a nut rather, for the upper control arm. Don't fall in the engine bay. That's gonna have to come off. All right, 3 bolts for the fuse box. If I was a professional, I would tell you you should have disconnected your battery before unbolting the fuse box, but I didn't. So do that at your own risk. So this little dust cap, which is like, seems unnecessary, performative even, is revealing another castle nut and cotter pin, just like here and down here. So in retrospect, I would undo this before that, before the ones on top, because then this isn't going to fall out while I'm trying to wrench on this. But here we are, and it wasn't that hard anyways. Sometimes it's a little harder, but that works. So this, again, should be stiff. I'll show you on the new one, but this is like filleted and gross, and not, like, you can hear metal clanking in there. It's just not doing its job anymore. We salute your 30 years of service, but it's time to go. Okay, so now the PB Blaster has been on this. This is square, so you can hold it with a wrench. And then, of course, this is a nut. So there we go. Now, when this comes apart, we're going to want to have our our replacements, which are 2 pieces, be the same length overall, or else it's going to change your toe. By the way, I've put a bungee on here because I didn't want this hanging out and putting unnecessary strain on the CV axle. So we want this to be equal length to maintain our alignment. It's not going to be perfect, but we want it to be as good as possible. I recommend getting alignment done after you do this, which is another reason to do this all at once. So this nut is loose. I PB blastered in there. This is somewhat hexagonal, and this is square. So can I, oh, okay, that was easier than I expected it to be. PB blaster is amazing. Now, I said that you have to reinstall these at the same length, so I'm counting on there being markings that make it obvious where this was because of that white crust. So this white crust was at the top of that. If you need to, mark it with a paint pen, put a piece of tape on it, do what you got to do so you can put it together at as close to the same length as you can. The kit we're using is from Detroit Axle, and it does not include this boot. So we need to reuse this boot, which means we have to not destroy this boot. And it's held on with like a metal zip tie back here, so I'm gonna have to go under there and cut that off. And then I'm gonna reinstall it with new zip ties. Yeah. So this, now that we have the boot off, and then we put the key in and turn the wheel all the way to the left so that this would come out to us, you can see that this right here has to turn to remove that, because there's nothing you can put a wrench on here. And even if you could, this spins independently of that. Now what's going on there, this is into the steering rack, and this is going into notches on the steering rack. So this cannot turn. But then the ends of this washer are hammered down over these. So you can't just put a wrench or a tool on here and turn it until you peel that back, which is going to be a pain because it's like really well sealed on there. So let's see what we can do. I have various screwdrivers and a hammer to try to chisel that out. So I'm starting with a really thin, long one. Trying to get under that lip. So the screwdrivers weren't working very well, but these chisels have peeled that up. I still won't be able to put a wrench on there, so I'm gonna have to like So then, once I had peeled it up a little bit, I used this flat-sided punch to whack it flat. And now I have to do the same thing on the bottom. So once you have that washer flattened, this is not that hard to turn. It is impossible to turn before then. So I was able to get the 17 in there. If you can't, then you would use something like this crowfoot. This is not the right size though, but you get the idea. Ow. And once you have it loose, it just comes out. So you can better see now, this washer, when it's wrapped around those flat sides and those teeth are in there, it's going to be impossible to turn. So you have to smash back the washer so that you can rotate this. And this is 17 millimeters. So you can do it with a crowfoot, or if you can get a wrench in there, whatever you can fit in here. Now, I should have marked this with a paint pen so I would know the gap, but the length, I didn't. So we're gonna go for that dark line was what was exposed to the road. And the orange underneath is like my PB blaster. So we're reassembling the old one right now so that we can see the original length. And we're doing that because we want to keep our alignment, specifically our toe, the same as it was. So by using the coloration, although a smarter person would have marked it with a paint pen, we know that it was this length. So we take this new one, we're going to assemble this to the same length, and then we're going to mark this one with a paint pen. We're still going to have to go get an alignment, but this is just so that we don't have a completely horrible toe in the meantime. So I put a piece of tape. The nut's going to go up to that piece of tape. That will keep our length. This I'm going to thread back in, and this little lips are going to catch that, and then I'm going to bend that over so that the next guy has a hell of a time removing it too. So the original one had this gap here, which means you can fit a big wrench in here. The new one, you can't fit a wrench in there. So I'm going to add yet another specialty tool that you probably don't have that you might want to consider, which is these ultra thin wrenches that can actually fit. I got to set this down. Even that doesn't quite fit in there, but it fits better than the other one. All right, the inner tie rod in is installed. The washer is rebent. I'm zip tying the boot and making sure to reinstall this little tube that comes off the boot. Now we're kind of in the home stretch because that is definitely the hardest part of this. The rest is just nuts and bolts, and we're gonna slap this all back together. Using our tape as our guide, I am just tightening this up with 2 wrenches like this. Now it does go with this facing up, which is really weird if you're used to like every other car I've ever seen, because usually they go facing down. All right, that's torqued, but this isn't. We're gonna connect the top here before we try to connect that, so that this will be held in place. So my cameraman, Diego, is gonna go up top, and I'm gonna pass these nuts to you, these threads to you. We are torquing these to 47 foot-pounds. There's horizontal bolts that go through the eyelet of these vertical ones that I didn't tighten, and they were really loose. So I'm doing it the hard way, which is after they're already in like this. And not too tight, obviously, because this still needs to be able to articulate. There we go, castle nut. And then we're going to torque this to 32 foot-pounds. Once I torqued the castle nut on the tie rod end, the only things left is these crusty sway bar end links, which is really just bushings that go between the sway bar and the lower control arm. So in between these top ones will be the sway bar, and in between the bottom ones will be the lower control arm. These are cheap, easy to replace, and well worth it, because as you can see, the ones that are in here are crumbling and falling apart. The new one comes with all new hardware, new washers, so we're not going to be reusing any of that. It's a little tricky to line everything up and thread the bolt through while pulling up on the sway bar to get this done, but it's even harder if you're filming it, so at least you won't have to do that. So that completes the whole side. We torqued the sway bar end link to 16 pounds. This castle is 32 pounds. If you don't believe those are the right numbers, look them up yourself. This is ready to go. Put the wheel on, and then we get to do the whole other side. And now the second side is done. Second side's always way faster. That's it for this episode. We're gonna go do a test drive, but it's not like it's gonna be world changing. We're just gonna be a little bit tighter, a little bit nicer, right? And we'll feel better in our heart knowing that all the rubber's not crumbling apart. Tune in next time. We're doing coilovers that have been sent to us by a secret manufacturer.